topic of today's application case is Type E and Type F combination motor controllers. A combination Type E and Type F motor controller includes a motor protection circuit breaker and contactor to provide disconnecting means, branch circuit, short circuit, and ground fault protection, motor control, and motor overload protection. Motor protection circuit breakers are devices that are multifunction devices certified as manual motor controllers, suitable as motor disconnects, and can be used in group motor installations, and can be used to manually control individual motors and protect them against overload and short circuit currents. And at C3controls, we offer these as standard. Our Type E self-protected combination motor controllers and Type F combination motor controllers can eliminate the need for upstream short circuit protection and provide reliable motor control and protection. We will specifically talk about the applications of these within the National Electric Code and the UL standards requirements to have a UL-listed Type E or Type F combination motor controller, and spend a little time identifying the differences between a Type E self-protected combination motor controller and a Type F combination motor controller. Let's take a brief look at the National Electric Code Article 430 requirements for a motor circuit. Relative to utilizing a combination motor controller, specifically Type E or Type F, we will focus on 4 elements: motor disconnecting means, motor branch circuit, short circuit, and ground fault protection, motor controller, and motor overload protection. So we'll first talk about the typical type of motor installations and solutions people may use within the National Electric Code for meeting these requirements. There are 4 examples: traditional motor installation, multi-motor installation, group installation, and Type E construction. As defined in UL 60947-4-1, the Type E self-protected combination manual motor starter must provide disconnecting means, branch circuit, short circuit and ground fault protection, motor control, and motor overload protection. There are specific requirements by UL for spacing, indication, lockout, short circuit, and endurance for a Type E combination self-protected motor starter. How do we utilize the motor protection circuit breaker as a Type E self-protected combination manual motor controller? First and foremost, it must be self-protected, indicating it must be able to operate immediately after a fault has been cleared and the contacts cannot weld. It must provide branch motor protection and be capable of providing branch circuit, short circuit, and ground fault protection for that motor circuit. It must be able to provide indication of whether an overload or short circuit has occurred. And it must meet larger minimum spacing requirements as a branch device, meeting 2 inches over surface and 1 inch through air, and this installs on the line side of the motor protection circuit breaker, compared to the standard industrial control equipment, 3/8 inches over surface and 1/2 inch through air. Comparing this against Type 2 coordination, self-protected is associated with the contacts that serve as the branch circuit protection. It cannot weld, and it has to be able to operate immediately after the magnetic trip-out test or the fault. A Type 2 coordination indicates that the controller shall not result in danger to persons or the installation. After the short circuit, the controller may be capable of further use, however the contacts may weld, and there may be an appropriate level of maintenance allowed prior to them operating. So self-protected is an improvement or an increase over Type 2 coordination. Let's talk about how combination motor controllers are rated. They are rated similar to other controllers that are intended for use in motor circuits. They are specified by horsepower and rated by short circuit current rating. For example, 5 horsepower motor at 480 volts requiring a short circuit current rating of 50,000 amperes at 480 volts. Type E starters are listed as full combinations, meaning that the entire assembly is used during testing and is fully listed, and only that assembly can provide those specific ratings in a Type E application. An example of a manually operated Type E self-protected combination motor controller would include the specific motor protection circuit breaker, trip indicating auxiliary, and line side terminal barrier as a complete assembly for a particular motor rating. Similarly, an electromechanical Type E self-protected combination motor controller will include a contactor for remote operation. In this case, the motor protection circuit breaker, the trip indicating auxiliary, the line side terminal barrier, and the specific contactor are all tested together to provide the appropriate Type E rating, meaning that you have to use the listed combination of the devices to achieve the Type E rating. You can't just mix and match at will, but is specifically based on how the product was tested. Elements of a manual Type E device would include the motor protection circuit breaker, trip indicating auxiliary, and line side terminal barrier. Elements of an electromechanical Type E device would include the motor protection circuit breaker, trip indicating auxiliary, line side terminal barrier, contactor, and generally some type of link module between the motor protection circuit breaker and the contactor. However, the link module is not required, but as a complete assembly is generally offered. 2 elements that are primarily new to this assembly would be things like trip indicating auxiliary contacts and line side terminal barrier. trip indicating auxiliary contacts ensure that the device can provide indication of whether an overload or a short circuit has occurred. In this example, there are 4 contacts available. 2 contacts associated with overload, meaning that if there was a thermal overload trip, that those contacts would change state. If it's a magnetic short circuit, then all 4 would open and the blue button on the front would protrude, providing the required visual indication of what type of fault occurred. The line-side terminal barrier provides the increased spacings required for a branch circuit device, 2 inches over surface and 1 inch through air. And this installs on the line side of the motor protection circuit breaker. The Type F construction is very similar to Type E, however, except that the contactor is not part of the construction during the self-protected test. So the motor protection circuit breaker, as defined, is self-protected, but the entire assembly is not. However, the assembly is suitable and capable of being applied as a combination motor controller. What that means is that you have the appropriate branch circuit, short circuit, and ground fault protection. However, in the event of a short, the contacts of the contactor could weld. But the device will appropriately clear the fault and protect the persons and equipment from danger. It just may not be immediately operable afterwards. The Type F combination motor controller is suitable to provide motor disconnecting means, branch circuit, short circuit, and ground fault protection, motor control, and motor overload protection. At c3controls, we offer a complete range of motor protection circuit breakers with Type E and Type F ratings. We offer the ability to purchase all the necessary components for field installation. We also offer starters that are fully assembled and specified within our catalog to take the guesswork out of whether or not you have the right combination and what is the type of the device that you are receiving. Please check out our website and catalog to see how convenient it is to specify a device suitable for use as a Type E or Type F combination motor controller.